Haley Norris, realtor.
No.
Should I make my hair go like this? Whether you need to buy, sell, or lease. Haley, can I use my hands? Or is that, where are my hands? Where do they go?
Just say,
Haley.
Just like Haley.
Whether you need my expertise. Haley Norris, realtor. Or even do a commercial lease. Haley Norris, realtor. Should I say Remax Real Estate Center or no? Is that too salesy?
No, that's good.
My average days on market is just 50 days. You need my expertise. And that means I'm putting more money back in your pocket.
It was just about 2 years ago, it was a few months away from being 2 years, that the Dollar Tree at the corner of Nettleton and Red Wolf Boulevard was a scene of a tragedy, and where a tragedy began, as Laurie Pixler, the assistant manager at that store, was kidnapped at gunpoint. She would not survive the ordeal. It was a group of 3 that police say enacted this tragic and heinous event. They were after money, a night deposit, but the only thing they stole was a mother from a 3-year-old baby and the wife of a disabled husband and someone that was beloved by everyone that we've spoken to and heard from. It was a senseless tragedy, and 2 of the 3, as of today, have now found out their fate. The 3rd awaits his trial, if that's where it goes, at least. So we're going to cover this case in full today on the NEA Report. We'll go from the beginning to the end. We were there just the days that followed after this took place, and we'll bring you up to date on everything that took place. That's next. The Dollar Tree at Nettleton and Red Wolf Boulevard, and a WREG truck with a live satellite dish on the top of it. It indicates to you that this is no normal day. As I took this photo on September 27th, 2016, it was 2 days after what was an unbelievable tragedy that nobody should have to endure. Nobody as a victim, which would be Laurie Pixler first and foremost. Nobody should have to endure their co-worker being kidnapped out of the parking lot and losing her life because 3 people wanted to walk away with an easy buck, the night deposit, based on what police found out during their interviews. So we're going to go through some photos as I describe the story here and catch you up with what all has happened. There's been some new happenings in this as far as the justice process goes over the last several days. You've probably heard that over the last 24 hours from NEA Report, and we'll update you on all that. That's right now. So, the first photo here, it begins the story because it was after dark on September 25th, that night, that Laurie Pixler got off work. And this Dollar Tree was one of her 2 jobs that she worked for her family, her husband, disabled, her 3-year-old child. Of course, any 3-year-old needs a lot of things, provided to them, and it's not cheap, especially these days, as wages are, for some reason, never going up anymore. And so Pixler got off work that night, making an honest living, and as she made her way to her car, the assistant manager of the store was ambushed at gunpoint by one of the 3 suspects. We'll show you the suspects here in a moment. We'll tell you also which suspect is believed to have done that. As she walked to her car in this parking lot, it was a robbery. That it's at least what it began as. But it turned into a kidnapping. And we're not quite sure how that happened, why that happened. But it was, without a doubt, the most senseless, needless part of this entire story. As the suspect, the one suspect that took a plea yesterday, and we'll get to him in a moment, he held the gun and convinced her to get in her car. And from my understanding, he forced her to drive away. Police learned later that man was followed by 2 others behind him in a silver Kia Rio. And in the days that followed, they put out a photo, actually video, of that Rio, wondering why it was circling through the parking lot during all this. But they later figured out it was no coincidence. So the trio they were on the phone the entire time, coordinating what they were doing. And we know this because police used cell towers to track their exact path. Wow. And that shows, at least as far as we can understand and tell, quite obviously the three were working together. But much beyond that, we learned that after detectives would later apprehend the three. First, let's tell you about the most tragic part of this. This is the part I'm just dancing around because it's the worst part of the whole story. They dropped off Laurie Pixler on the side of Interstate 555. And the problems go from a robbery and a kidnapping to a murder there. It's the middle of the night. You dropped her off on a busy interstate. And Pixler was probably scared for her life and freaked out at having a gun pointed at her face. And she was killed in traffic. And it's just an impossible tragedy to imagine, trying to explain to your 3-year-old daughter, as was described on the GoFundMe page, that mom isn't coming home. In every sense, what those three did, the two that have admitted it, the third allegedly, it was a murder. Because they put her in the mental state, they rattled her, they freaked her out, and then they tossed her out of the vehicle. And they claimed she was still alive when they put her out of the vehicle. That's their claim. And if we even believe that, which I don't know that there's reason not to, but if we take that for what it's stated to be, you just robbed a woman at gunpoint, threatened her life, made her drive away, completely freaked her out, and you drop her off in the dark on the side of the road with no way to get home. What do you think could happen in that setting? We all know. And detectives worked diligently. Shay Racy is seen in that photo on the right working, speaking to management. They were shaken. The blood looked like it had drained from their faces as they were talking about this to police, even 2 days later when I was there at that store. And authorities, as I mentioned, they were able to track down the three suspects. They used those cell towers to learn much more about this case. And I've detailed a lot of that in the article at neareport.com. This is Laurie Pixler. And there's still a GoFundMe page that's set up. We're going to go to that in a second. I'm going to read some stuff to you off of that. But if you can donate still, it's not had any donations in about 20 months, but it reached about 5,500 or so, a little more than that. And, if you've ever had to pay for a funeral, that would not cover it, probably. And for a family that had serious needs already, now it's compounded. The 3-year-old child is either 4 or 5 now. We don't know because we don't have the exact date of birth. It's about 2 years later. And mom never came home. Her life was the one thing that was stolen that night. Prosecutor Scott Ellington told me that they never even got any money. Let's meet the three suspects. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here too because I want everybody to get a clear visual, right? The first suspect is the man that I'm told by the prosecutor was the man that wielded the gun, the driver, or the person that put her in the vehicle, and that eventually did drive her vehicle. His name is Dewan Christopher Logan. He was 22 at the time of the arrest. I guess he'd be 24 now. Of Earl. It was on Monday. He entered a guilty plea to aggravated robbery, kidnapping, and second-degree murder. He was originally charged with first-degree murder. That was going to be hard to prove, but they got him on second degree, and he received 30 years as a prison sentence. Wish it was more. but just to be honest, and but still, that's going to put him in about 54 years, probably 52, because he'll get time served already. He'll be 52 before he gets out. Although some people have speculated that he could get out early. We'll talk to Scott Ellington about all of that after the third case is resolved, and hopefully we'll get clarity on that. Because it's hard for Scott to talk about a lot of this stuff right now, but I'm getting some info from him, some from police. The second suspect entered a guilty plea today. Byron Ford, 24, of Lepanto, was to the same charges: aggravated robbery, kidnapping, and second-degree murder. We don't know all the details in the case behind why, but he got 36 years. It was more than that if you added all the sentences up, but some of them were concurrent, and the maximum sentence of all those he got was 36. So when it's concurrent, they're served together, consecutive, one after another. So if they would have been consecutive, it would have been at least 56 years. But he got 36 years. He's going to be a 60-year-old man when he gets out, if he serves all 36 of those. The third suspect is still awaiting trial. Rodney Watkins, 21, of West Memphis. His trial is still pending as of right now. He's charged with first-degree murder, aggravated robbery, and kidnapping. It was Watkins' phone that authorities were able to use to trace down and to actually find the path that the three drove along, as they drove pretty much the whole time on the phone with each other, coordinating it. It was even said in the affidavit that Watkins had told Logan, who's, it says is of Earl, so wouldn't be familiar with the area, how to get out of town and where to go. If that's the case, Logan must have been driving when he took Pixler's vehicle. There was some confusion about that. You know, a lot of the details aren't released to the media until after the trial, because they save that stuff until its trial date. So once it's over with, we'll go back through it all when we get all the paperwork, and we'll put it all together. But I can tell you, based on what we know and everything else, we have more answers here at NEA Report than any other outlet. Actually, the only reason I'm saying that, I'm not saying that in a braggadocious way, but yesterday I mentioned something to Ellington, and he said, "Don't say that." And I said, "Oh, I've already reported that." And he said, "Oh, wow, I didn't know you knew that." So it was the detail about the cell towers. That's, you know, that's out there. Now, I want to show you guys and go through this, because something that's kind of happened that we never did get to cover in a story is the GoFundMe page by the sister-in-law of the deceased, Laurie Pixler. Victoria Pixler. Her brother is Roger Pixler, whose wife was Laurie. And there was some updates posted on this, and I just want to go through those because it's more of a personal aspect. The first update was obviously 20 months ago, as all of them are going to be now, pretty much. And they were going through the process still of not knowing who did this. Anyone with information, please contact Crime Stoppers, they said. They were asking for prayers, talking about his 3-year-old daughter. It said all donations on there, which, by the way, reached over 5,600. I'll look at that in a second. All donations going to them. The second post, thank you to everyone who helped us surpass the halfway point of our goal. Laurie's husband and 3-year-old daughter still need our help. They asked for as many shares as they could get. Over 1.5 thousand people shared it. They said in a later post, as we prepare to lay Laurie to rest, our family would once again like to thank everyone who supported us this week, whether it was monetary on this page, other acts of kindness, or a simple smile to brighten our day in passing. We will be forever grateful. We ask you to continue to share this page to help it reach as many as possible. Update 4 of 5 was my gratitude to all who've supported this fund and shared it on Facebook, but please don't let our goal fall short. Continue to spread the word. It says, yesterday was a very difficult day as family and friends gathered for Laurie's funeral service. It was very heart-wrenching to see her husband, as an amputee, wheel up to the casket with his 3-year-old daughter carrying her favorite baby doll that mommy had given her. If you're having difficulty understanding this tragedy, think what must be going through the minds of this precious little girl. Wow. And then the final update there, about 20 months ago, as I mentioned, as I share this post, Laurie sometimes worked 2 jobs to help with the financial needs, but she always had her children in her heart. She often wrote short children's stories with them as characters, as the characters. Wow. I would like to share one. It says, Jeffrey and AJ went on a hike. They saw lots of trees and birds along the way. They heard music. The two boys followed the music to find out where it was coming from. AJ said, quote, "It's more people having fun." Jeffrey said, "Let's keep going so we don't miss the fun." When the two boys found where the music was coming from, they saw something they had never seen before. They saw bears, but they were not ordinary bears. They were dancing. "I didn't know bears could dance," AJ said. "I didn't either," said Jeffrey. "Come join us," the bears called out to the boys. So AJ and Jeffrey danced with the bears until the stars set in the sky. Wow. You know, that's cute and creative, and it's my eyes are welling up with tears as I imagine her writing that for her little 3-year-old. That's going to mean so much someday. Thank you for all the support and prayers, and know that one day Laurie will dance with her children in heaven, it says. You know, there was just an incredible amount of community support. $5,690 of the $7,500 goal was reached, and it's a tragedy. It is a tragedy, and so there is one element to this story left, and it is the last suspect, and you know, that will be resolved. I'm told probably we'll find out something on that. Either it's going to go to trial, or we'll find that out. It's got to be within the next few weeks, right? Because that's when everything else was coming to fruition. It all usually does around the same time for these cases. So we'll keep following this story and bring you more on it as we learn it. And certainly it's heart-wrenching. It really is. And it's something to think about for the folks out there that would ever think of the act of a crime. What might you take from this world is far more than money.
Family Medical Clinic of Walnut Ridge and Bono are your neighborhood healthcare providers, and we're now accepting new patients. We know you have a tight schedule, so we're here 6 days a week at both locations from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome. In Walnut Ridge, stop by 1045 West Main Street or call us to make an appointment, 886-8300. In Bono, we're on Highway 63 North or call 930-9990. Walnut Ridge Family Medical Clinic and Bono Family Medical Clinic, here for you when you need us.
Specializing in unloading contents and packet moves, fully insured and licensed, The Moving Company is the only company to call for your next move. The Moving Company's award-winning team will quickly, safely, and efficiently move your belongings where you need them, whether it's across town or across the country. The Moving Company. Equipped with 2 full-size moving trucks and all the supplies and tools for any move, The Moving Company is prepared for the toughest jobs to the most gentle. To book your next move, give us a call at 882-2842 or send us a message to our Facebook page by searching The Moving Company.
Time now for your New Wave Wireless weather forecast. It's home of the $49 iPhone screen repair. And it's home of a lot of showers and thunderstorms for the next several days for us, too. It's not going to happen tonight, probably at least. Although there actually is a slight chance that it'll happen tonight. It's coming at you from New Wave. Here we go. Let's talk about it. First up, 20% chance for showers and thunderstorms this evening with otherwise mostly cloudy skies, a low around 73. You're going to notice temperatures dropping down. In fact, feeling really good outside today if you ask me. 40% chance for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow with mostly cloudy skies, a high near 88. 72 for the low tomorrow night. More showers and thunderstorms on the way. They'll continue Thursday. They're likely with about a 60% chance right now. Mostly cloudy otherwise and a high in the mid-80s. For Thursday night, more showers and thunderstorms. They'll last into Friday, Saturday. As a matter of fact, chances for them are on Sunday and Monday, too. They're only a 30% chance right now, and it's going to warm up into the 90s on those days. But on Saturday, 50% chance, so it's a pretty good chance you're going to see thunderstorms at least through Saturday. They may let up into Sunday. But it looks like for the evening, we're probably not going to see much. I checked the radar, and I've looked at the hour-by-hour forecast, and they're not really telling us much is going to happen, at least in Jonesboro. So even though we do have that slight little lightning cloud appearing by the moon, which you probably barely even see because it's like just gray overload, that's probably not going to happen. It's probably going to start tomorrow, 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms. And, of course, NEA Report is your severe weather center. We will keep you up to date on what is going on with that business. So if it gets crazy, you guys know where you can turn. What's it doing right now? Well, it's about 91 degrees. That seems warm, though. I went outside a second ago. It felt like it was 88 here. I don't know what the difference is in those 3 degrees, but I can feel it. A few clouds outside as well in Jonesboro. So if you're not already, make sure to like us and follow us on Facebook at NEA Report. We say that every day because after the fact, we also upload the show to YouTube. And sometimes we get a few hundred, a few thousand, or tens of thousands of views on our YouTube page. And we're going to be doing more on that in the future as well. So don't forget to go to YouTube and subscribe to NEA Report also. I'm Stan Morris, and you're up to date with NEA Report. Back tomorrow with more news, maybe some thunderstorms too.